All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is pull your hide here out of your water after you've soaked it. That horse hide's probably going to take, a good 4 to 5 hours. It doesn't matter if it's longer, you just want to make sure it's nice and malleable. This is a buffalo hide, so this is super thick and super heavy, but that horse hide will be a little easier to work with. So you get your soaked leather string that you have in there as well. You're going to want to cut a little notch or a little sharper point at this one end so it's easy to go into the hide. Take your first end and cut that one too, really. And you want to start in this first top hole. Line this up like you would a clock. So you got 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, of course. You tie this first one. Doesn't have to be a cool knot or any kind of thing. You just make sure it's nice and tight. Get that sucker on there. And this, you don't want to do that. But you want to come through the top, or the bottom technically, the part that's facing down to the table. Get that knot nice and tight. Of course, don't rip it like I just did. But so that when it's pulled on, it's not gonna slip. Then from there, you want to make sure that everything's kind of lined up pretty good here. Take your ring and you want to set that in the center. You're going to kind of give it a little bit of a check when you fold this over, that those are almost the same distance on the ring there. And then from here, you want to go straight down to the next one through the top and get your string pulled all the way through here. And then you're going to go back up, so keeping that this string is on the right. Then you're going to go right here, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. So you go back through the top, right here, underneath, pull that string all the way through again. And then again to the left over here, top, but you want to stay underneath and on the right hand side of that string again. Go through the top of this one here. Once you get your string pulled through, make sure again it's underneath to the next one. Pull that through, underneath to this next one. Underneath. And then to your last one here. Now once you get it to this point, this is the tightening that you really want to worry about here. So you get your first string, go and pull that one up, hold it, next one. You'll find this is going to be just go the same direction you did and hold that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and on your horse too, as you're tying it, you can honestly start that first run a little tighter than what I did. I was just kind of trying to show you how that lays in there. This one's gonna end up staying loose, but once you get it once, you're gonna want to do it again. So you pull that sucker tight, pull that one tight, pull that one tight, pull this one tight. Once you get it to that part, you can actually tie a little knot there if you need to, just to keep everything nice and tight here. But see how it's kind of forming like a pie almost, you know? This being your first knot. Again, yours is a bigger drum, so you'll want to pull this at least 3 times. Get that sucker nice and tight in there. I'm using quite a bit of force to get that pulled over. Now once you get it to this point, you kind of got this shape in here. You need to divide your holes starting from the first one you had and count how many you have. So you got 2, 4, 6, 8 on this one. So you're dividing it into 2 spaces. So coming from that last hole that you were in over to these 2. So you got 2 here, 2 here. Now look at this. So you got these 2 holes, these 2 holes, these 2 holes, and these 2 holes. So you're going to want to go ahead and pull this using your thumb to kind of find the center point. And this kind of part is a little tough because all of this, you want to pull that to the center of your drum and make sure that this is all kind of ended up being centered right there, right? So once you get that kind of pulled, then you're going to start on the first 2, starting from that first one you dropped. Go on the outside and under. Pull that tight. And then the outside and under, and you keep on wrapping this underneath these 2 strings until you find what you want is to be your handle. So like, you know, this one's going to be made for a little person, so I'm only going to go so far, probably about 2 inches here, maybe like 3 more wraps. But you're going to want to gauge your own hand size for that. Also, kind of taking into consideration how tight it's going to pull your drum too, the more you pull these up. And this eventually gets wrapped in leather too, so anyway, keep unwrapping this bugger. I'm gonna go 1 more on this one is all. So I went about, let's say like 6 wraps, 7 wraps maybe to there. And then from there, you want to go underneath and come out this first hole. So you got the 2 that you wrapped, come out the first one, and then back down through it. So it pulls kind of a little bit of a slip knot right there. See that? Now that one's held. So now you can go directly across to these two, which is these two that makes that center a little bit more centered. Go ahead and turn your drum if that makes more sense for you. So again, get that pulled tight. I'm going to be on the outside of these two holes, which are directly across from the other one I just did. And you wrap that. Same thing. About 7 times. Yours is longer too, so again, you'll have more string. You can kind of ball that up and throw it underneath there a couple times if you want, you know, as to save on the wrap time, but it doesn't really matter, whatever makes sense to you. Just make sure that those are nice and tight. And when you're doing this, again, I know that you're not able to see the force that I'm putting on this stuff, but definitely tight. You know, it's gonna, your hands are gonna be sore when you're done. I don't know if you've ever tied dream catchers or not, but similar kind of concept. So same thing, once you got these two, you're gonna go up only through the first one, back down underneath the whole thing. And that pulls a little slip up there, just like that. So now I'm already at these two here, because I pulled underneath. So go ahead and start those two. From this point, it's a little easier because those are two kind of centered off. So again, you know, 5 or 6 times, 7 times. And now you can kind of see where this is making a natural handle. So again, this is going to be for a smaller person. This is actually for Mishta's daughter. So it's a pretty little drone. But super cool. So when you want to make your own ties there, you just make it about the same size as what your hand's going to be comfortably holding it. You can always go longer out too. It's not that big of a deal if you do. So again, I got this down underneath the first one, and then back down underneath to the next one. Pull that sucker tight. Oops. And then again, now I'm on this last one. Get this last one tied off. This string dries super tight when it's done as well. This stuff is pretty strenuous on your hands, but you'll get it. Just want to make sure you're getting these strings pulled together pretty good here. Okay, so that's pretty much the last one I'm going to do. I'm going to do one more, I guess. Once you get it to this point, just tie it off. So go under and out underneath that last one again. So going underneath the first string, out the top of it, and down. And just pull that into a knot. And you can do that again on this last one. Make sure that's all tight. I'm going to go ahead and go with one more. Like that. And then you got this leftover string. got any of this leftover string here. I always just tie this in a little bit of a knot down at the bottom. And you can actually cut this off later if you want. Or you can leave it on there. This is just a part, since there's leftover string, to have the ability to hang this up if you'd like. It's also really nice to hang it up while it's drying. Oh shit. I guess I'll do it like this. This stuff's pretty slippery if you can't tell. Alright, I'm getting that a little bit weird. Go ahead and do this one more time here. I know your hands are probably sore if they're anything like mine already at this point. But the next part, you gotta prep them for. All right. There. There we go. Okay, so that works just to hang it up if you want to at the end. Otherwise, you just cut that piece off. You'll notice that I have those on here. Usually just separate them, you know. This one's done and dried. So now from here, kind of want to separate these parts out, but you're going to want to start working these parts over. And it's going to be tough on this little buffalo, but I have to get it. So that hide, you just work it, fold it over. You're gonna have to get up in there and work it, really work it with your hand. But each one of these parts individually folds over. And I usually will get this one and pull it and stretch it. This sucker is thick. Holy shit. But you get the point. So you got to keep on rolling this. Unrolling it. Holy moly. This bugger is thicky. But this hide is malleable and it does stretch. So eventually you can get it worked over. Yours is going to be much easier than this one because, number one, this is a small drum, and two, this buffalo hide is about 3 or 4 times thicker than that horse hide. fucking shot already. But anyway, keep on running this over. I'll separate those out a little bit. But as you can see, I'm working up high. So you want to look at this one. I just did yesterday or 2 days ago. So eventually these get pulled over and folded down, and then it tightens up. So even though if there's like these little wrinkles on the outside, they flatten out once it starts drying. This is the same size drum, a little 12-incher. But once your drum is done too, the other leather straps that are in there are for these. So you go ahead and wrap these guys up however you desire. You know, you got 2 of them in there, so you'll have enough room for both sides. I usually cut this little tab and wrap it and then tie it, or you can tuck it in right there and glue it if you feel puts in you, but you might fold that around the 4 and then you got yourself a little handle. Some people use wood, some people use antler. I've done both. I actually got one right here that's gonna go for the inside of my horse drum. I've cut this out of koa wood, so it's gonna be a handle like that. And I'm gonna set it in the middle of my drum, drill holes and tie it off to this, but yeah, you can make whatever you want. If you have any other questions, let me know. But I'm gonna continue folding this drum over. It's gonna take me probably a good 10 minutes to get this bugger really bent into shape because it's so thick. But you can see what it's gonna end up being. So I hope that you got the information you need, and if you have any other questions, let me know, and we'll get your drums looking like all these ones do. Have a good day and enjoy yourself.